Bohemia Classica is known as the oldest recognized Pilsner in Mexico. Named after the Bohemia region in the Czech Republic, the birthplace of the Pilsner, Bohemia looks to combine traditional European flavors with Mexican beer characteristics. Does it succeed in doing so? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews. What up, guys? Yeah, we have the Bohemia Classica. We're going to give this a whirl. I've never had this before. I was turned on to it by actually a viewer on YouTube, Hector Jamarillo. I hope I'm saying it right, or I'm remembering it right. But he told me to check this out, and so I thought I'd do that. So, alright, let's give this a crack open and see what we got. I am interested in a Mexican beer that is based off of, it's a Pilsner. And I mean, it's even named after the region in the Czech Republic. So, I mean, that's gotta be a good sign, right? Alright. Alright, let us get the review started. And first is smell. It has that nice, it has that nice aromatic of, kind of like your normal Pilsner. It smells almost a little thicker than what you usually get. There's like a slight hint of the citrus, with, the barley and, not the barley, but the hops and everything. It's got that slight, just a slight, almost like grapefruit zest aroma in there. As I get my nose, I just gotta get it so much. But yeah, I mean, it kind of tastes or smells like your general Pilsner. There's nothing like super different with it than what you'd expect when you're popping open a Pilsner, which is good. A Pilsner is one of those things that, at least for me, when I crack it open, there's something I really, I'm expecting to get. And I also find that a Pilsner is a beer that's really easy to screw up. It's not as forgiving as some other beers out there. And so you need just the fine line of your ingredients to make it, just that crisp, refreshing taste on your tongue that doesn't linger too much, and it doesn't get too bitter or too sweet or anything. So it's really hard to get, and that's why, I mean, in my opinion, there's not a ton of great Pilsners out there. There's a handful. And we'll find out if this one is, but it's got the aroma I'm looking for, so I'm going to recommend it on the aroma. Now, alright, let's get to taste. It has almost more of a... It is definitely a little bit heavier than what your average Pilsner is going to be. It's got more of a woodsy flavor to it. You can tell it's the different kind of hops they use. It's not bitter. There might be a slight hint of bitterness more than your general Pilsner. So I think that's interesting. It gives it some more flavor characteristics than what you normally get. While still maintaining the Pilsner that you're looking for. It's just a little more complex, I guess you'd say. You do have a hint of the barley at the back end of it. It's definitely not as if you're a fan of the super uber crisp, where it's almost hit your tongue and then the flavor's gone. This isn't that. The barley and that hit that's kind of lingers on the back of your mouth after you drink it, that stays. I still have kind of like that woodsy, almost a little hint of like an oaky, charcoaly kind of thing going on back there. It's still lingering, and so it's a little different from what your average Pilsner is. That's for sure. Yeah, and I mean, as for I had mentioned that there's almost that little bit of citrusy thing going on when I smelt it. You don't really pick any of that up when you drink it. It's more of the kind of your general Pilsner. It does kind of taste almost a little thicker. It's not like it doesn't drink thick, but it has with just the flavorings. It's more you have more flavors going at the same time that you have to kind of work your way through than what the average your average general Pilsner is going to be. But it's good. I like it. It's definitely a little more complex than what a general Pilsner is, while still maintaining that. And so I like it. I'm going to recommend it on the flavor. And now number 3 is value for price. And to be quite honest, I bought this one a while ago. I had the tip to check this out. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I bought it, and then I had to deal with a whole bunch of other different videos and other work, and so it's been sitting there. And I'm trying to remember. I don't believe it's that expensive. I think you can get a 6-pack for about probably $10. I don't know what distribution is for Bohemia throughout the States. I'm going to assume you can probably find it in most large regions. So, value for price, I'm going to give it a half on value for price. I do remember it was more than, say, if you just wanted a Corona or a Tecate or something like that. If you wanted this, I do believe it was a little more costly. Not like crazy costly, but a little bit. And probably the only time you're actually going to buy this at a restaurant or something is if you're at a Mexican joint. You're probably not even going to. You might not find it at most other places. And so you have to decide if you want to tack on an extra buck for the beer at the restaurant or not. But so because of that, it's not bad, but it's not. It's kind of middle of the ground for beer prices. So I'm going to give it a half for that. Next is distinction. How different is it from others in the category? I'm going to say it is very distinct, because you have to almost look at it in 2 different ways. You have to look at it as 1 as a Pilsner, and 2 as a Mexican beer. And I don't know if that's necessarily fair to just kind of categorize all beers from one country into just a giant kind of like ball or whatever. But the thing is, most of the Mexican beers you've had taste extremely similar, and so I feel like you have to at least somewhat compare that to the other things. Like, so if I'm comparing this to Corona, Tecate, Dos Equis, and all that other kind of stuff, this is different. This is definitely much different, and it does have a nice Pilsner, but it's different from your general Pilsner as well. And so because of all that, I'm going to recommend it on distinction. And all right, next category is drinkability, and that's could I drink multiple of these in succession? I think that's one of the things by a lot of the Mexican beers. Tastes very light, and they're just easier to just kind of go through a bunch. It's hot, and sometimes nothing quenches the thirst, just like a lighter beer, and that's why a lot of them are like that. And so you have to kind of take that in mind, keep that in mind as well. With this, you're not going to be able to just kind of clear the whole case when you buy it. It does have it's very good. It's very good. It's not heavy enough to the point where you're like, I couldn't drink a couple of these. So honestly, I think I will recommend it for drinkability. I was kind of teetering on the half, just because you're not going to drink it as fast probably as the other casual Mexican beer, but I like it. I'm going to go with I'll go for that. And so, all right, last category is would I buy it again? And I'm going to say yes. I'm going to go for that. It's it's you've probably seen the bottle at least in some Mexican joints you've been to. It's if you feel like a beer, kind of like the default when you're just going to your local Mexican place is your food and a Corona. And I like this one. I'd like to step out with it. I think this would be a good one at a Mexican place if I did feel like a beer, but I wanted something with a little more complexity, a little more flavor, and that's kind of what I think it'd be. That's what I'd go for, and so I'd definitely buy it if I was at a Mexican place that had this kind of beer. And I think honestly, just having it around the house isn't a bad idea. It's a nice Pilsner with a little more flavor to it than a lot of the others, and it has the nice more aroma, more flavor to it, so you don't just get bored with it. I feel like some like a Corona or other beers, I just kind of get a little bored with it, just because it's good at what it does, which is just drink it fast and it's light and whatever. I wouldn't get the bored like that with this. So I'm gonna recommend it for that. And honestly, this is a great little Mexican beer. When I compare it to the other Mexican beers on the market, I'm definitely gonna suggest people to check this out. It's and thank you, Hector, for telling me to check it out. I'm definitely glad that you pointed it my way. But so yeah, not bad. Almost a perfect score. It's I feel like I got a little cheap with it since I took it down to half in the cost, but still a really good score. And yeah, so that is my review of the Bohemia Classica. They do have some other beers I'm gonna have to check out. And if you've had it before, let me know. Write it out in the comments. And if there's another kind of beer you'd like me to check out, please let me know in the comments as well. Especially, I haven't tried a whole lot of crazy different Mexican beers outside of the ones that we've all had before. So if you've got one that you want me to check out, put it in the comments, and I'll do my best to get to it and check it out, especially if it's available in Arizona or one of the nearby states. I'll see what I can do. But yeah, so if you liked the video, if you want to check out more, we got some nice top 10s coming up. If you just like and subscribe, and you can check out, you can get a hold of us on Twitter at 2Dudes Podcast. You can email me questions at 2dudesinasixpack@gmail.com. And make sure to check out our podcast at 2 Dudes in a Six Pack. You can find that on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you get your podcast. But yeah, anyways, for the Bohemia Classica, take it easy.